What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're going to get started right away because this is going to take some time. And I want to cover the one we did last week. So let's get to it. So if you were here last week, and if you weren't, for those of you that were here last week, and if that doesn't describe you, what the hell is wrong with you? No, last week we did. We built a content generation app that builds content in the way that AI engines like ChatGPT and so on like content. And we hit a bit of a wall because Lovable took a shit on us. But after it was over, I went ahead and finished it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat for everyone so you can check it out. And I'll demonstrate it really quick as well, just to show you what's possible. Did I really lose like that many people that quickly? Holy shit. Well, a minute ago we had a bunch of people waiting and now everyone dipped. So let's see if we can't send a couple notifications to get some eyeballs on this. But if it doesn't, then who gives a shit, right? Also, we sent an email and a push notification and a browser put notifications. So why is it not live on Facebook? Hold on. There it is. All right. So let's go ahead and highlights. No followers today. Weird. All right. So let me try one other thing. You're getting a few eyeballs now. That's disappointing because I had a lot of people here a few minutes ago. Yeah. I'll try not to take it personally that the second that I started that everybody did. If you're watching and you can hear and see me, please say hello. So I know I'm not talking to myself because that's embarrassing. All right. Well, I guess this is going to be a quiet crowd today. That's disappointing. All right, moving right along. You can see that we finished it up. Here's the dashboard. You put in your business name and the category and the founder name, the website, and the logo, and some other information. And then some information about your schema. And then you go and you add some things that you don't want it to do, like landscape. Kailua over on X says, what platform are you building on? I use Lovable, but sometimes I use Cursor or Bolt as well, but Lovable is probably my favorite. No emojis, no EM dashes. Save the content guidelines. I also have a file you can upload if you have like instructions. You generate your niche phrase. You can just pick whichever one you want. Let's go with that one. Save selected phrase. And you can generate a hero section. You can generate questions and answers for like forums. Generate these versus pages or comparison pages. We'll just do one for you can make a guest post with up to 2,000 words. And this is using the newest version of Claude for what do you call it? To generate the content. So that's good. So there's that. And you can also generate a blog post. I'm not going to bother with that. And you can generate schema. So you can see that it'll allow you to copy and paste the hero section for your website if you want to do that. It'll generate the answers to the question. It'll give you the questions and then generate the answers for you. So you can post them on Reddit, Quora, whatever. It'll generate a nice comparison page for your site. It used emojis, even though I told it not to. So I'll have to look into that. But it looks good, I think. And then in a minute, it generated the schema for you based on the data that you made. And in a minute, it'll have a guest post. And then you can export all of that at once or one at a time. And this is proven to be the type of content structure that AI engines like. So, yeah. that's what I got for you on that. Let me do one other thing. And then we'll get into today's live stream. All right. So there's that. And if you have any questions at any point, let me know. But then let's move on. Okay. So that's last week's brandmover.ai. It's completely free. So check it out if you want to build content that will get you to show up in, I don't know what you call these, AI search engines. Okay, so this week we are going to build an app that runs your life, basically, that creates an algorithm for you to run your life. And I already did some preparation, I guess is the word, in Chat GPT. So, and I'm going to just walk you through that quickly, and then we'll get started with actually doing it. I want to create a life algorithm app that people can use to create systems and make decisions about key areas of their lives by simply entering relevant data. Everything from business, health, finances, romantic relationships, personal relationships, and all other decisions. Consider how to use AI to help with the decision making. Automation tools like N8N, Slack, and or Notion, and anything else that would help. I'll vibe code this in lovable.dev using a super-based backend. Do thorough research on everything that would be required from a user and from a technical standpoint. As output, provide the results of your research and a prompt I can give Lovable to build the app. In the prompt, include instructions to use real AI APIs and integrations and no mock data. So it followed up, and I'm using deep research in O3, model GPT O3. So it said, do you want the app to provide personalized decision-making decisions, general frameworks, decisions, or both? What type of data would users be putting in for each level or each area? What platforms or tools would you like to integrate beyond Slack, Notion, and N8N? And I said, all. What's up, Smart Daddy? Do you want apps to generate? Will this be a web-only app? And so on. I answered all its questions, and then it researched for 6 minutes and came up with the really extensive response. I'll share this chat in the chat so you can review it because there's a lot here. But I asked some follow-up questions as well. See, it gave me a very thorough answer to the point that it's taking me minutes to scroll through it. Then it gave me the actual prompt that we're going to be using. So while I'm here, I'll go ahead and copy that. You see the prompt is pretty in-depth as well. Please give me, I asked it to give me a list of the APIs and integrations I'll need. So I have that handy. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. And then I also had it kind of explain what the user journey would look like. So let me go ahead. I'll share that in the chat, but first let me go over to Lovable and so we can get started in here. So what I'm going to do now is paste that prompt right in there and have it get started. And then we'll come back over here, grab this URL. Make that discoverable so everyone can see it. And we'll put that in the chat for anybody that wants to check it out and see the way that I build prompts. I'm going to make a separate video on how I do that because there's been some interest. But that's that. And now we just got to wait and watch this go. And while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and connect my GitHub repo. Apparently, I have to wait for it to finish building the project. So I'm not going to do that. Does anybody understand? Does everybody understand what we're doing? Does anybody have any questions or anything like that? Because there's not much I can do while this thinks. So we'll use this opportunity. Shannon says, hey there. Hello, Shannon. Yeah, this is like I said, this is a pretty ambitious and in-depth app, so it's going to take a few minutes for it to spin up the whatever the I don't know the opening part. You know what's actually interesting? Let's look at the code while it's doing it, so you can kind of see how that works. Boostif AI. There's your free plug. This is what are we doing? I was late. So what we're doing is building a life algorithm generator that will integrate with all kinds of tools and give you decisions on how to run your life, basically based on your own like input and data and connections and so on. And I actually shared the prompt that I used to write the prompt to develop with Lovable. Now, I assume that since you're boostif.ai, that you kind of get the concept at least. So, yeah, hopefully this will not take too much longer, but who knows? I mean, like, this is a pretty in depth thing to write, I think. At least I feel like it will be. And we should be ready. I mean, ready is, yeah. All right. So let's see what we got from the business and career. The interface, I think, looks pretty good. Health and wellness, finance, relationships, transform your life with AI, check your accounts. All right. So the next thing we need to do is connect our GitHub repo so that this will have this, I don't know, synced. Um, I don't even know what to really call it. And then the next thing we want to do is connect Supabase. So we're going to create a new project in Supabase. And we're going to call it Life Algorithm. I always spell algorithm wrong. AI. And we'll go to password, which I now have to go change because it was on screen. And we'll create new project. Yes, confirm. I know it'll cost me a few bucks. And while we're waiting on that, we will use our time wisely. And I know I'm going to need a bunch of APIs, but I know for a fact I'm going to need the Open API or Open AI API. Man, that's a mouthful. So let's go ahead and create that. I'm going to do that off camera because, well, obvious reasons. So if you don't know how to do that, let me know. But I just don't want the API key on camera because then I have to go change it later, and that's a pain in the butt. Copy. All right, that seems like it's ready. So connect to Supabase, and now we just choose the project. Just got to find it in the list here, which is getting extensive. All right, so now I want to go ahead and connect OpenAI. So we'll put that in there. We'll paste the key in there and click save. And now I'm going to ask it, what's next based on my original prompt? But I think that interface came out pretty good. What do you guys think? All right, now we got some folks on. Oof, OAuth has always been a pain in the butt, so we'll see. All right, so let's implement the plan. I'm going to take myself off camera because I'm kind of in the way of the chat. And you don't really need to see my face. So now what it's doing is building the SQL that's necessary. If you don't know what SQL is, it's a way of it's a language that most databases use to create and manage data. It stands for Structured Query Language. Amro, haven't seen you in a while. Keep it up. Thank you. So it's going through and writing all the different statements to create all the tables and things that it's going to need. And that will be stored in Supabase, which is why we had to do that first. So now I click Apply Changes. So we got about 21 people watching on X, or at least it's been shown to 21 people on X, 15 on YouTube, which is great. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and subscribe. This is a new channel. I can't see subscribe because it's my own channel, but please subscribe. I'm going to be doing these weekly for the most part. I'm probably going to miss a few weeks as I'm moving soon, but I'm going to continue to do these fairly often and talk about AI on this channel in general. So subscribe for me, please. And we got some more changes to apply. Just full disclosure, I'm probably not going to get through this entire project today because I have a meeting in about 45 minutes. And this is an ambitious project, so this will be multi-part, most likely. So you'll want to subscribe so you can see how it turns out. One thing I hate is that AI tends to format like the text AI with a capital I, and I prefer it with a lowercase I because it looks like Al that way. And I think of Al Bundy. People under 40 just said, who? So now, if you have any questions or comments, this is the time because there's really nothing to do in the meantime. Well, while it's thinking, but yeah, I have so much fun doing these, and they turn into being valuable apps or resources or whatever. Keith says, hey, Chris. Hello, Keith. And yes, I don't know if he's going to make it to the conference or not because of visa issues, but yes, George will be at the conference in England next week. All right. Why did it give me a... I guess it needed to do that. All right. Well. Oh, and build unsuccessful. Try to fix it. And I'm going to tell it to remove auth for now because it's just too much of a pain in the ass to set up. And I want to get the actual functions going. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I certainly did. Okay. Now, let's skip adding auth for now and focus on making the core functions work. Auth is just this, the sign up, and it's a lot, and most of it's not very interesting and isn't that important, at least at this stage, to have it. I probably should have told it that, but at least now it's built and we can just do it. And it's using mock data, even though I specifically told it not to. So that's always annoying. Can you see that okay, or do I need to zoom in? Let me know. Oof, already used 700 credits. I don't see how that's possible. I guess maybe that's for the month. I don't know. Lots of streamers use Arc browser. Nicer UI than basic Chrome. It's still Chromium based, not an ad. Worth a try. I've checked it out. I don't know. To me, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Plus, like once you get used to something, it's really hard to switch. Maybe I'm just old and set in my ways, but I find it hard to switch. Pretty good turnout. Actually, real good turnout, considering this is like a new channel with less than 200 subscribers. Yeah, while we're waiting on that, just I'll put the link to subscribe or a link to the channel in the chat if you want to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I've added 10 since I last looked at it. Just click here to subscribe. Let's see how this is coming. All right. Created missing hooks, goal management. I have Rana says, hello, Chris. Hello, Rana. Connected the Open AI API to Supabase. What else do you need me to connect for basic functionality? What happened to that nice looking homepage that it had? No, it isn't. Maybe, but like I find that it doesn't build as pretty of an interface, and I find that it's a bit smart. Like this is a bit more dumbed down, which I like. God damn it, it completely destroyed that nice homepage that we had. God, that pisses me off. I've got to get in the habit of telling it to do what I tell it to do and nothing else. Because now the homepage is going to look different than it did before. Well, I could, but then like I would have to redo everything else that we've done. And I may do that if it still doesn't look the way I want it to. Yeah, see, this is much worse than it was. So yeah, let's try to restore it. God, that's irritating. I turn on chat mode so it won't just go do shit. I have already connected Supabase and done some database setup. What's next? Yeah, I run into that too, John. And what I've gotten in the habit of is when I tell it to execute the code, I tell it to not overwrite the file, just make the changes. And if I sound irritated, it's because I spent half a day on Saturday figuring this out. But I tell it not to overwrite the file, just to make the edits that I suggested and to not change anything but the specific thing that I told it to change, and tell it over and over again. Skip user authentication for now. Do not change the home page at all. Have the get started button on the current home page lead to the setup interview. Do these things with all of those changes, develop a new plan. I find it easier to have Gemini create an AI prompt than I started with having ChatGPT create the prompt. If you were on time, you'd know that, Tebby Chiropractic and Sports Medicine Clinic. I'm just fucking with you, of course, Alan. Always a pleasure to see you. Yeah, you can see I had it create the prompt for me, and it did really well. It's just that it's trying to go out on its own. All right. Do not change anything else. Do not overwrite the file or current home page. Do not do anything not described in this plan. Implement the plan and only the plan, nothing else. Do you... I don't need to put that. I don't really need to make these like spelling checks, but and then turn off chat and do it. That's not, you see, even that wasn't enough to get it to do exactly what I told it to do. Because then it abandoned the rest of the plan. Aaron says, hey, buddy. Hey, Aaron. Oh, it's already done. And of course, we got an error. Find module. Why are you removing the super? No, that's no. What are you doing? Don't be dumb. See, it got all fucked up because I told it to revert that change. The other day, I got it to tell me that it was an idiot. Implement the plan. See, it's still, God. Oh man, that's like timid compared to some of the stuff I've said to it. It so makes me mad when it like undoes things that I like, which is what happened here. Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you talking about? We're probably going to have to start over. Yeah, I use cursor once these get to a point that they don't work. Go easy on the AA. You think it works better with please or with roasting? It doesn't make any difference. The roasting just makes me feel better, but yeah, we're almost certainly going to have to start over though. Overwriting the or like restoring from history. Yeah, we got to start over. Isn't that just fucking lovely? All because it went and changed shit that I didn't want it to change. I mean, I could probably fuck around and like get that existing one to work, but this is going to be faster. That's so annoying. And I guarantee you this version will not have as nice looking of a landing page. I will say for the sake of people that are going to try this though, it's good to see, it's good to have, um, it's good to see it fuck up so you can kind of see what you can expect. By the way, please, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe to the channel at the link in the comments. It's a new channel and it's going really well, actually. But I mean, other than the fact that we keep running into dumb shit like this, but no, it's growing well and I'm pleased with it and I'm having a lot of fun doing these. So, uh, yeah, keep at it. Because it's a separate topic. The main channel is for business and things like that. This is just for building apps. If you blend your channels too much, YouTube doesn't know what viewers to send you. And it's actually a problem I'm having on the main channel because it keeps sending me SEO views, and that's not who's interested in what I'm making now. So my views have dropped. Although the last one did well because it was about AI, ironically. It's so annoying. How do I delete a project? Once completed, will you do a video on send a mass email to both cold and warm contacts? So basically, you need help with email marketing. I can't spell algorithm to save my life. Yeah, I can do that. I mean, there's really not much to it. If you have the audience, you just email them and tell them what you built. I don't know. All right. Oh, for fuck's sake. And it looks like it's just an HTML error. So it should fix this pretty quickly. At least I hope. 90% of it I built in an hour, and then like getting it just the way I wanted it took probably 6 hours. And then after like a little bit of feedback, like the hardest part was getting the onboarding, not the onboarding, but the authentication flow right. That was like the bulk of that 6 hours. And then later on, I added a blog posting feature. God damn it. This is so frustrating because like it started off fine and then it went and did some shit that I didn't tell it to do. And then I tried to restore it and then that made it worse. I started over and now it's being a moron. I swear to God, these things have bad days, just like humans do, where they just cannot figure stuff out. Because like I spent hours one day trying to get it to do something, and it kept telling me how dumb it was, and like not it would quite literally just say it did what I told it to, and then just not do anything. And I'd ask it, "Did you actually do it?" And it would say no. And then the next day, I built another app that had like 8 API integrations, and I got it in one shot. And then today, apparently, it's having a bad day. Oh, come on. So true. It's insane. Like, it's like just like a human, in that some days it's just fucking worthless. If what was I going to say? If if we get up to about, we got about 20 minutes. If we get to about 2, what I'll do is we'll just do another part to this tomorrow. Seriously? So this is another hack that I found, is to copy the error code, turn on chat mode, and have it figure it out rather than try to fix it. Alan says, I spent about 5 months using Bolt to create our app. The issue was it was doing the same thing that we see going on here. It wasn't until we broke it down into steps with another AI that it worked. Yeah, I've run into that sometimes too. Level not in the mood. It seems that way. Damn near one shot at a call tracking platform and thought I should one shot something else the next day, and it was a nightmare. Exactly. It's mind boggling how it's like different from one day to the next. So I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I'm not glad, but it's reassuring to hear that I'm not the only one with this problem. And that I'm not just being dense. Like I've been, I have, I can't, there's one, the app, I wish I could show the one that I one shotted, but it's something I want to use to keep private for now. But man, it was so in depth. It used like 8 different APIs. God damn it. All right. Well, at least we're getting somewhere. It does not look as good as the original homepage did, but it's not bad. Build unsuccessful. All right. Well, try to fix it. Not to pat myself on the back, but I try to be real when I do these things. So I'm glad you're seeing the frustration. Like, I'm not glad that the frustration is happening, but I'm glad that you get to see it. And I guess I can go ahead and connect GitHub, because it looks like nope, maybe I can't. I guess it's because I guess you can't do that while it's doing stuff, which I guess makes sense. But I can connect Supabase. Nope, can't do that either. Got to wait until it's done. And I have a feeling it's rewriting the whole page. What I find is when it's a simple fix and it's taking longer than it feels like it should, that means it rewrote the whole thing. All right. Now we're getting somewhere, I think. So let's go ahead and connect GitHub. Huzzah. And let's connect Supabase. Create new project. And this time I'm going to do this off camera because I don't want to have to change my password later. Ai Life Algorithm AI, and put in a strong database password. Create new project. Yes, I confirm. All right, and that'll be done in just a minute, and we'll connect the project. Next Supabase. It's not ready yet. Go ahead and get an API key for OpenAI. So we're going to go to platform. And we'll do that off camera because, again, I don't want to have to change it later. API key. Create new API. Life Algorithm AI. Default project. Create secret key. Copy. Close. So let's try this again. Should be ready by now. Yes, I know that. All right, so now let's go add our secret key. OpenAI, paste, save, close. Review the original prompt and tell me what's next. I want to skip user auth for now and focus on main functionality. Please. Oh, now let's see. I have connected Supabase and my OpenAI API key there. What is the plan next? Do chat mode is really helpful. It helps it to like not make changes before it's ready. And you'll like catch it from doing something dumb if you read the plan that it suggests. Load existing returning. I specifically told this fucking thing not to use mock data. Okay, so hopefully this will get us close. Okay, that sounds good. Do that and only that and nothing else. Nothing else at all. Only the plan. Do not change the current homepage. Do not change anything you have done so far. Only implement the plan. Implement the plan. Not implant. And if this is successful, we'll test it, and then that's probably going to be it for the day. And we'll try to come back tomorrow and do more things and build like more of it. Thanks everybody for being here. This is a lot of fun. Despite how frustrating some of this has been, this is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying doing these, and I hope that you're getting inspired to try some things of your own, but also just enjoying it, and so on. If you could subscribe for me, that would be just peachy. If not, that's fine too, but I'd appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments or thoughts, please let me know. I'm happy to help. I only have 10 more days that I'm going to be living where I currently live. That doesn't mean I'm moving in 10 days, but I'm going to have a trip into London next week. And then I have to finish getting ready and I'll leave. So a lot going on in my whatever area, circle, life. It's a shame I don't have some sort of algorithm to help with all of it. Hopefully everybody's enjoying this, though. I know I certainly am. Driving everything yourself or hiring moving? I hired a moving company to take the bulk of it, but I'm driving also. But I'm only going to take like my essentials and my computer. But I think it'll be fun because it's like a 3-day drive. And it'll just be kind of a cool road trip. Unfortunately, like my stuff won't be delivered for a freaking week until after I like take over my new place because of well, I don't even know why. So I'll have to live in a hotel for a week. I've heard horror stories, shady movie. Yeah, I did too. I used a national brand because of that reason. So yeah, hopefully it'll be. I mean, it's going to be a lot, but fortunately, I don't have like a lot of stuff. So where to? Las Vegas, just off the strip, actually. Really nice place. At least I think it is. Plan on doing any meetups in Vegas? I'd be down. Yeah. I mean, I'll have to get settled and figure things out. But yeah, that's a part of the appeal is that there's much more community there. Watching you roast AI like it's a confused intern. That's what it's acting like. So, all right. So let's see how we did. Keep talking to AI like that, and one day it's going to delete your Wi-Fi. All right. So let's see how this went. Start your journey. All right. So, Christopher. I can't even spell my own fucking name. Christopher Michael Walker. In case you ever wondered what the M stands for, 46. Occupation, business owner. Time zone, EST. Daily routine. I'm just going to give it some bullshit data for now, but I get up, I eat, I work out, I work, I sleep. Sleep schedule, 11 p.m. to, I guess, about 8 a.m. Working hours, 9 to 6. Exercise frequently, 3 to 4 times a week. Next. Goals and values, career goals, to have every business on earth using my platform. Health goals, to be in perfect physical and mental health to get the most out of my life. Financial goals, to be rich level rich. Relationship goals, meet the one, not at all my real goals, by the way. Loyalty and service. I'm kind of making these up just for the record. Let's go. Google Calendar, Slack, Notion, Apple Health, Bank of America, other tools, 8 Sleep, Aura, Chat GPT. I'm just making things up again. Challenges, business career challenges. Not enough people know about what we do. Health challenges. Could stand to lose a little weight. Financial challenges. Not investing enough. And I'm just trying to give it some random shit here. So, relationship challenges. Too busy to meet someone. Next. Preferences. Communication style, direct and to the point, encouraging and supportive, detailed explanations, daily check-ins, high automation, medium. Yeah, let's go with medium. Complete setup. Great. Generating your personalized AI recommendations. Again, this is just a fraction of what I want this to do, even if this does work, which would be a fucking miracle. All right. All right, so this is a pretty good start. Now, this doesn't actually do anything, I don't think, but let's see. Start a marketing campaign to increase brand visibility. Consider hiring a marketing agent. Accept. Implement schedule regularly 4 times a week. Consider consulting nutritionist. Accept. And this will obviously, like I said, this is literally day one stuff. So hire a financial advisor. Accept. We're all caught up. Well, let's see, business. All right, well, that doesn't really help us much, but I think that's a pretty good framework, especially considering what a fucking challenge it was to even get to this point. So lots to do still, but I think that's a pretty good start, at least of what I have in mind. Yeah. All right. So I have about 3 minutes left. I'm going to come back tomorrow. So do me a favor. And I don't know the time yet. I'll have to look at my schedule because I don't have a life algorithm yet. But please subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow to continue building on this. If you want to check out what we have so far, let me just go ahead and publish this. I'll leave that link in the chat as well, but please subscribe so you won't miss out. And we'll be back again tomorrow to continue working on this. But if you want to check it out for yourself, I think it's going to have my own info in here. No, maybe not. All right. Yeah, you can just use this for now. But please subscribe and let me know if you're enjoying this. And we will be back tomorrow sometime, probably in the later afternoon. But yeah, I don't know. I'm glad we got through the kinks. I think we're off to a decent start here. We got a lot more to do because it doesn't really do anything right now, but we have to give it more information and set up the automations and all sorts of other cool shit. So that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you're enjoying this. Please subscribe, follow me on all the places and do all the things. And we'll be back again soon. Peace.